Hi, welcome back to The Scent Advocate. Tonight we're talking about fragrance moods again, and tonight's mood is hot, hot summer night fragrances. And so I've got something for everyone here, I think. These fragrances are, some of them are masculine, some are feminine, some are unisex, right down the middle. And I'll let you know what I think, but as always, fragrance is an individual experience. You do you, wear what you like, wear what makes you feel good. It's all relative anyway, right? Because our body chemistry affects the way fragrance smells on us so much. Tonight's beverage is Prosecco, and it is domestic, but this one's kind of nice. My husband picked it out. I really like it. So grab your beverage, friends, and let's talk about the first selection, which I will undoubtedly butcher because it's French, and that's just what I do. This is Eau de Merveilles by Hermès. Stunning bottle, by the way. Look at how sparkly it is. Oh, yes. This is a 100 ml Eau de Toilette. This is a 2004 release, and fantastic. I absolutely adore. This is my third bottle. I paid about $175 for this. The nose behind it, noses, I should say, Ralph Schweiger and Natalie Feisthauser. The notes in this are orange, elemi, lemon, amber, pepper, pink pepper. So I assume it's black pepper and pink pepper. Violet fig, cedar, vetiver, oak moss. Love oak moss. And benzoin. But let me tell you, the oak moss in this is pretty understated. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the strength since it's an eau de toilette. This smells like a very high-end resort. You know, you go in the lobby and it's kind of open air. I can't remember the name of the hotel we stayed at in Maui one time, but it was a really, really nice one. I think it might have been the nicest one, right on the beach, and it was a corporate trip, so my company paid for it, and that was great. But wow, it was amazing. Absolutely stunning. Just travertine floors, open air, trade winds coming through and just, kissing you hello and really picking up the smells of the beautiful lei we got when we arrived. It was just exquisite. This reminds me of that. It's punchy citrus, woods and resins. It's chic, like I said, high-end, smells very expensive, sexy, and adventurous. And you just knew you were in for a good time, whether it was, swimming with the sharks or parasailing or whatever you do out there in Maui. It starts out smelling like this fantastic citrus forward, and it wears beautifully. This being an eau de toilette, do not mistake it for a light touch. This is very, very strong. I think this absolutely wears like an EDP, and it can be overdone in the hot weather, but I'll tell you, I started out wearing this when I lived in Utah, and it's very dry out there. And if you live in a dry climate, I do think you can get away with being a little heavy-handed with fragrances, especially citrus-forward fragrances like this one. I just think it wears a little bit differently. I felt when I was out there, if I were to perspire, it would just kind of evaporate quickly, and it always felt really dry. And certainly you can sweat, but I didn't nearly as much as I do in a more humid climate. Anyway, I think that affected the way the fragrance performed. It never got cloying or anything. You know how sometimes fragrances can get like that when you're sweating a lot. Sometimes fragrances bloom with that, other times not so much. I'd watch out with this if you were going to perspire a lot, but in a drier climate or a windy weather situation like was the case in Hawaii, oh, it was fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Yep, this is Eau de Merveilles by Hermès. Gorgeous stuff. Moving on. A classic. Come on, you guys had to know this was coming. Musc Maori by Pierre Guillaume. Come on. Hot summer nights. Who doesn't love this? What a gem. This is a tropical musk. Oh my God, this is gorgeous. This is a 50 ml, by the way. It goes for about $125. It came out in 2005, and it is an EDP. This is cocoa, vanilla, tonka bean, musk, amber, yellow florals, and coffee. Yes, yes, yes. And you would think some of those notes were a little too heavy for a hot summer night. No way. This, I definitely would not want to perspire in. That said, a light spray is heavenly. It has a very dry, sophisticated cocoa meets yellow florals like ylang ylang. Absolutely exquisite. The coffee is very subtle. If you don't like wearing coffee, I love to drink coffee, but it takes a very special fragrance for me to want to wear the coffee. This is one of them. The musk is beautifully done. It's an ambrette, but so what? There's plenty of vanilla, tonka. The amber's very subtle. It's not heavy. What does this make me think of? New Zealand, of course. Musc Maori. I mean, what else are you going to think of? I've never been there, but I aspire to go. I can only imagine how amazing it smells. And when I imagine, it smells like this. Musc Maori by Pierre Guillaume. Absolutely must try this if you haven't. Moving on, we have, ooh, this one's fun. Frangipane al Pistacchio by Kyse. This is a gourmand, but I love to wear this in the summer. Oh, this is heavenly. This makes me think of Brooklyn in the summer. Let me just start out by saying this is a 60 ml. It's a 2023 release. It goes for about $95 and it's an EDP, so an excellent buy. This is, in my opinion, this house makes some of the most exquisite gourmands. So the notes in this are pistachio, sugar, vanilla, cream, almond, heliotrope, and sandalwood. But this is pistachio ice cream. Very photorealistic. And when I think of pistachio ice cream, I think of, I don't like ice cream, first of all. I don't hate it, but I would never go out and seek ice cream. But I sure do love the way it smells. And I went out on a date once, many, many years ago, when I was in college. And my date took me to this gelato place in Brooklyn. And I never cared for ice cream, but I wanted to get something because he took me there and it was a nice gelato place. So I ordered pistachio gelato and we went to the beach. And by the time we got there, it was pretty close by. But by the time we got there, the stuff was melting all over the place. And I was eating it and I'll never forget, I was mortified. I spilled it on myself, on my shirt. And my shirt was a sticky, awful mess. And when I did, I still had some in my mouth and it was like, it like dripped. And I went like this. And when I did, some of it got on my face, this pistachio gelato. And I was mortified. It was my first date with this guy. And I really liked him. You know, I wanted to go out with him for a while. And I just thought, that's it. You know, he thinks I'm a complete idiot and a slob and I eat like a 3-year-old. And he just said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know, I'm all sticky, and he just loved it. It's the weirdest thing. He just absolutely loved it. And I had this crap all over me, and he just thought it was the hottest thing ever. And it smelled like this. And it was just like Frangipane Pistacchio by Kyse. Moving on. Oh yeah, this one. So this is Sweet Muskmelon by Stranger's Parfumerie. Okay. This is a 30 ml. It goes for about $90, and it's an EDP. This is Pandan. Well, let me tell you what the notes are. It's Frangipane. So is that a theme, right? I just talked about Frangipane with the Kyse, but so we've got Frangipane, melati, sandalwood, honey, jaggery, coconut, nectar, Thai muskmelon, pandan leaves, cashew, coconut milk, and I think that's it pretty much. However, the sandalwood in this, so there's definitely pandan leaves, and when you smell pandan, you can never unsmell it. It's got an unmistakable tropical kind of Southeast Asian feel to it. Very beautiful stuff, just gorgeous. There's honey, there's coconut, there's cashew, but the sandalwood is exquisite. It's toasted, right? So if you've ever smelled sandalwood incense, so years ago they used to have this import store that was very well known, but when it first started, it was really cool, and they had all kinds of interesting exotic stuff in there, and they used to have these incense cones and the incense sticks, and my parents used to let me get the little cones, and you could get these little like brass, I don't know, it looked like a something you'd cook Middle Eastern rice dishes in, like a tagine. It looked like one of those, only they were small and they were brass. Anyway, you put the little cone in there, you light it, and then you put the top on, and the smoke would come out the top, and it was super cool. And I did that just for the fragrance. I didn't do it for any other reason, by the way, just so you know. I was pretty straight edge as a kid. So that was the sandalwood fragrance that I remember, and it's in here. That toasted sandalwood, beautiful incense, combined with the pandan leaves, the creaminess of the cashew, the creaminess of the coconut, the hint of sweetness from the honey. This is exquisite. This is like a late 19th century South Pacific port. Locals kind of selling their wares, and they're selling them to the sailors on the vessels that are going to be headed back west soon. And in my mind, I just picture this dynamic, you know, the two cultures come together, and all of a sudden one doesn't want the other to leave. It's magnetic, and some of the wares that are being sold by the locals to the sailors have, you know, the smells of the beautiful South Pacific location, and they just want it to go on. They don't want the sailors to leave. The sailors don't want the locals to go back home, and there's just this dynamic of longing among this amazing exotic fragrance in the heat of the dusky evening, and it smells like this. Sweet Muskmelon by Stranger's Parfumerie. Okay, next, this one is a little bit of a stretch, but I love to wear it in the summer evenings, and it is Soir by BDK. This is the Extrait version. I love this. I know this one's polarizing. It's a fruity sheep. It's sheepra, and I love it. I do not apologize for it. This is 100 ml. It goes for about $320. It's an Extrait, and it came out in 2023. I think the Soir Eau de Parfum came out a couple of years before. Oh, the smelling is making my nose itch a little bit. but this is so amazing. So the notes in this are black pepper, ginger, cocoa, tangerine, pear, jasmine, quince, orange blossom, patchouli, benzoin, cashmere, and vanilla. I definitely get some juniper in here. I've said that before when I've talked about this fragrance. It's got that bright resinous note that juniper can bring to a fragrance. Very fruit salad like, with a little booze in there, maybe a little light rum. Beautiful stuff. I think what makes this something of a challenge in the warm evenings is overspraying. And I think that's true no matter what. We love our fragrances, but not all of them are meant to be sprayed heavily in the heat. I shouldn't say meant to be. They don't all work if you spray heavily in the heat. And I think that can ruin things for the wearer and the people around him or her. You just need to take, a lighter touch with these fragrances. I've seen it done before where you just kind of spray in front of you and then you step into it. I think that's an incredible waste, but a lot of people find it works for them, and you do you. It's your bottle. You spent the money on it. For me, I just do, a light spray directly on me and move on with something this strong. Or I just accept the fact that the people around me are going to love me no matter what. And I absolutely adore the way I smell when I wear this fragrance. But yeah, I definitely get a, kind of an evening party with lots of fruit salad, maybe, and a rum punch of some kind. That's what this gives me. Just be careful not to overspray. Again, I think you can probably get away with a whole lot more than what I'm talking about tonight on a hot summer night if you just don't overspray. This is one you have to watch out for in that category. And this one as well, but this one especially because it's an extrait. Okay. Moving on. Millesime Imperial. I know I'm mispronouncing it. By Creed. Ooh, come on, there we go. All right, beautiful. Love this bottle. It is so beautiful. It's gold, very heavy duty. Metal meets glass. This is 100 ml. This goes for about $500. It's a 1995 release, and it is an EDP. This is Olivier Creed, of course. This is a beautiful aquatic. It's got bergamot, iris, lemon, mandarin, marine notes, musk, sea salt, and woods. Yeah, it's a salty aquatic. The iris softens the lemon and gives it almost a lemon sorbet feel. The mandarin and bergamot, very, very soft, very complimentary. Not the show itself. The show itself, in my opinion, the marine notes and the sea salt. With that lemon, to me, that just drives it home every time. What this doesn't have that a lot of marine fragrances that I absolutely adore have is black pepper. That's the secret ingredient. Black pepper and lemon, I find, in marine fragrances really gives me that very photorealistic, oceanic feel. This doesn't have that, and yet it is saltwater. It's just, to me, this is unique. It's beautifully done. It's, I used to think it was cologne adjacent. It's not. I think maybe the, what does it? Maybe the wood in there gives it a little more of a fragrance wearability rather than being, a full-on aquatic that lacks that quality. The wood gives it that kind of fragrance feel to it, as opposed to just a straight up photorealistic aquatic. But it is a stunner. I absolutely love it on a hot summer night. You cannot go wrong. By the way, I completely forgot to mention masculine and feminine. This leans masculine. Let me go back for a minute. This leans feminine, straight up unisex. Unisex, probably leaning feminine a little bit. Feminine leaning, but unisex. Feminine leaning, but unisex. All right, next we have, didn't I do this one already? No, I didn't. I did something else. So kind of related to Musc Maori. I always kind of put these together in my mind. They are very, very different, but where I think of one, I tend to think of another, and it is that dry coconut experience. It is Cocobello by Heeley, James Heeley. Now, my understanding is this fragrance has been renamed Palm. My research says that it is exactly the same as Cocobello. Let me know in the comments if you know one way or the other. But I think that's the reality of it. This is an EDP. It's a 100 ml. It goes for about $195 now as Palm. And it's a 2013 release going back to Cocobello. This smells nothing like Musc Maori, but for some reason, I just put them in the same category. It's because they're, you know, kind of coconut having aquatics. This is, oh gosh. So this is palm leaves, gardenia, coconut, sea salt, vanilla, bourbon, cedar, sandalwood, and benzoin. I think this is just perfection. I think this is an amazingly spot on tropical scent. There's coconut, but it's not suntan lotion. There's green palm leaves, but it isn't expressed as, you know, a punchy green like a petitgrain, and it's not a dry green like vetiver. The gardenia is there as a sweetener, but it's not at all cloying. Cedar gives it a brightness and like a resinous lift is in there. This is like, you know, the salty trade winds are blowing through your hair, and you can actually smell the trade winds, and it's incredibly, incredibly sexy. This is, the person who wears this is one with the elements around him, and I did say him on purpose. This is unisex. It leans a little bit masculine in my opinion. This is one of the sexiest fragrances I've ever smelled. Oh my God. And it's perfect for a hot summer night because this might be hard to overdo. And if you were to perspire in this, it would bloom. I know because I've done it. Exquisite stuff, Cocobello by James Heeley. All right, now we come to the last one. I gotta tell you, the Cocobello, wow. Okay, the last one I bought for my husband, and I want him to want this. He's not there yet, but I mean to get him there because I absolutely love it, and I think it epitomizes him in so many ways in the summer. He loves to sail. He loves to fly fish. He, you know, he's always out doing something, like outside. He's retired and living the good life. Bless his heart, you know. And he always smells amazing. But I would love a date night where he smells amazing wearing this. 40 Knots by Xerjoff. Join the club? What's that about? So when you buy this, you see a little JTC on there, and I really don't know much about it, but it stands for Join the Club. Did I join a club when I bought this for him? Who knows? Oh gosh, you guys. So this is by Christian Cabanel is the nose. This is definitely masculine. This is a 100 ml EDP. It is a 2012 release, and I think I paid $184 for it. What a steal. It's an aquatic. It's cedar, salt, seawater, and green notes. I get a spice in here. I get a little bit of ginger and a touch of allspice. And they're not listed in the notes. You know, I think of yachts, regattas, everyone's gorgeous, a little sea salt, a little sweat, a lot of sun. This is it. And it just makes me think of my husband, you know, doing what he does on a sailboat. I don't even know what those ropes are called. You know, there's a, I don't know, a Genoa involved, and it has to do with the sail and it not the city in Italy. There's a left side and a right side, and they're called different things, and I forget. One's, you know, starboard, one's something else, and oh my God, he's gorgeous doing it. And this is what I think of when I smell this fragrance. And so I'm going to force him to wear it and take me sailing one night. And that's it. So what do you think of tonight's lineup? Hot summer night fragrances. And my little anecdotes about them. This one in particular, we have to encourage the old man to put this on one night for me. What did I leave out? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you aren't yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave me a comment. And if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.